This is Lesson 5, the Polymer Lab, the last lesson in the Investigating Chemistry unit. And I have to say this is really one of my favorite because of the opportunity that it gives the students to really play, be very hands-on, and then go through the inquiry and design process on their own afterwards. This is a really fun unit and the kids really enjoy this lesson very much. The first thing the students are going to do is refer to their workbook and look at some recipes for making different polymers. You don't at this point really need to go into the discussion of what polymers are. That will come at the end after they've had a chance to experiment. So they're going to work in groups and they're going to make 3 different polymers from recipes that they have been given. That's where you're going to start, and that'll be the first part of your lesson. The next part, which you don't necessarily have to introduce yet, is you're going to have them see what they learned in creating these different polymers and give them a set of instructions of what properties they need to create in a polymer, and then they're going to experiment and make their own recipe using the same materials. So to start with the part that they're going to do, they are going to start by creating these from their recipes. A lot of measurement involved, which is great. That really gets into the Common Core state standard mathematical practices of being very precise. So the first one I've already started, and this is using the glue and the starch. And they want to stir it up. And they want to look at the different properties. Great time to talk again about those English language arts standards and using very descriptive language. Instead of just saying it's gooey or slimy or gross, they can talk about, is it stretchy? Is it sticky? Just the more precise adjectives they can use, the better. And talk about why that's important in science when we're sharing our observations with others. So this is what the first polymer will look like. The next one that they're going to make, they're going to pre-mix a couple of the substances ahead of time and then pour them together. And stir that. This is also nice because these do react quickly, so they do pretty quickly get results, and they can quickly see the difference between the substances. And of course, they're going to have a lot of fun ditching the sticks and getting their fingers in and really getting messy and having a lot of fun with this. The third one they will make is very similar to the second, except that it also involves talc, and you really want to make sure this one is stirred well ahead of time. I'll take a moment just to say this is one of the things I love about these kits. Everything is already in the kit for you. You're not going to have to, ahead of time, start to figure out where to get all of the different materials that you need. Because while some things are common to a classroom, like glue, there's other things that I don't necessarily have the time or knowledge to go try to find. I honestly wouldn't know where to buy talc. So I'm glad that it comes in the kit. Just one of those things that really, as a classroom teacher, makes the kits a lot more fun and enjoyable for me because I don't spend hours tracking down all of the materials. They're already there. There's a little bit of prep work involved in getting the materials set up for my students, but so much less than what it would take for me to have to go out and find all of these materials on my own. All right, so now we're going to mix this in. Again, we're stirring it up to see what it will make. And a great opportunity to talk about how just that one ingredient in adding the talc made such a difference. It's a harder substance, broke my stick. Made such a difference in these two polymers that were exactly the same except for one ingredient. Now for the most fun part of this lesson. Now we're going to give students a chance to spend some time really experimenting, getting hands-on, and creating on their own to apply what they learned about the properties from these recipes and create their own polymer with expected outcomes for properties. So maybe you want to have them make one that is bouncy. Maybe you want to have them make one that is stretchy. What I like to do is separate and have half of my class working on very bouncy polymers, half of my class working on very stretchy polymers. Even within those two categories, you're going to see the small groups of students come up with a lot of differing recipes. They can look at what type of materials they are using and then also experiment with the quantities of those different materials to see how that affects the results. This is just a really great inquiry portion of this lesson that allows them a lot of freedom to play and create with an expected outcome. Again, one of the things I love about these kits, they're getting a chance to really play, experiment, and work through the scientific process on their own. After students have had a chance to create their own recipes, you can spend some time with them sharing with each other what they did. Have students maybe do a gallery walk, walking through to the different groups and feeling their polymers and looking at their recipes. And then at the end is where you can really get into the discussion of what a polymer is and how different agents cause the different reactions. In this, you can talk about how the borax really makes a difference in creating the polymers. The teacher's guide has all of the specifics as far as this so that you have the right vocabulary and the right explanation to give your students. This may be something you want to continue with your students and have set up in an area for them for exploration at another time. Again, because it is so hands-on and so much fun, the students really enjoy this, and you can provide the samples of it for them to take home and continue to play with. Thanks.